Welcome back everyone, Oz here. Now before we move on to the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And today we're going to be looking at some good old r/malicious compliance. Get back in line. When I attended college, I used to walk into the city center during the lunch breaks. One day, I wanted to see if any new movies had arrived at the local store not far from school. This was not a video store, but a store of assorted goods. Everything from toys to hardware and tools, and of course, new and popular VHS movies. They were always cheaper than the video store down the street. I got inside and, quite absent-minded, had to push myself around two guys crouching on the floor. I thought nothing of it until I passed them and looked back at them. They looked quite ragged and sort of like some of the homeless drunks hanging around the city. I started watching them and observed that they were filling their pockets with nails, screws, and small tools from the lower shelves. I quickly understood that they were stealing. I ran up to the counter to let the store know and passed the line. I start saying, "Excuse me, but..." And the clerk cuts me off, telling me to get in line. I say, "Yes, I'm sorry, but a couple of..." And she raises her voice and tells me to get in the back of the line. No cutting. I'm surprised at this, and I didn't answer quickly enough. She yells at me, "Get to the back of the line, kid. Have some respect for the elders in front of you." I remember feeling my face burning, but I turn around and get to the back of the line, and I wait. 4 people in front of me, and I look back at the 2 thieves when they leave the store. 3 people, 2 people, 1, and it's my turn. The clerk scowls at me, and I feel the anger burning in my cheeks. Hi again, and what I wanted to say earlier was, 2 guys were stealing your stuff. They left shortly after I got to the back of the line. That was all, and I turn and leave. The clerk's change of expression was a marvelous thing to behold. I really feel bad for OP in this one because they legitimately tried to do the right thing in the situation, but instead got greeted with this hostility. But at the same time, the store clerk did just see a college student scurry on up to her while she's trying to help customers out and demand her attention, so I wouldn't exactly say that the store clerk is in the wrong here, but I do think she could have handled the situation just a little bit better. Sam, would you come here for a moment? Yeah? Go and, put something new on the sign. Anything. You betcha. You want to see my gushing wound? Okie dokie. So this happened a while back. I was organizing items in my basement, and while moving a box, I managed to slice my hand open on a piece of metal. It started gushing blood almost immediately and sprayed a good section of the floor. I ran upstairs and grabbed a cloth to apply pressure and waited a few minutes. I moved the cloth only to spray my kitchen counter with more blood. Now, I guess from the glimpses I got of the wound, I would need stitches, but my main concern was trying to stop the bleeding the best I could. I made a makeshift tourniquet and waited a bit longer. Nope, still gushing. I drove myself to the ER, completed the triage questions, and sat down waiting for my number to be called. Once I see the triage nurse, I tell her what happened and she types away at her computer, never once looking over at me. Now at this point, the cloth I had wrapped around my hand was completely saturated with blood and getting worse by the minute. The nurse says she needs to see the wound. I explain that every time I released pressure, the wound gushed blood, so this wasn't feasible. She huffs and rolls her eyes, clearly doubting the severity, and says, "Well, I'm the nurse here, and I need to see it." I reiterate that it is gushing blood and the pressure should not be removed until the bleeding can properly be controlled. She rolls her eyes, but this time she reaches over and forcefully grabs my arm. I went to warn her again, but clearly my warnings were falling on deaf ears, so I let her do it, knowing full well what was going to happen. And guess what? She pulls off my makeshift tourniquet and blood splattered her right in the chest. She recoiled, dropping my arm, sending more blood splatter to the floor. She stands up and looks at me in disbelief. "I told you," was the only thing I could think of saying. She stormed away, but not before literally throwing my blood-soaked cloth back at me. I just sat there unsure of what to do. About 5 minutes later, a different nurse comes out in full splatter gear, face shield, gown, and gloves. Thankfully, this nurse was in a better mood while she finished triaging me. She never asked to see the wound. This is kind of an oopsie for both parties here because, I mean, first off, you have this guy who just basically cut himself and now he's spraying out like an extra in Zombieland, and then you have this nurse who, has probably seen a lot of people over-exaggerate their wounds and probably just isn't taking this guy seriously, thinking he's another one of the clusters. So, whoops. My history professor wanted us to write a paragraph from a historical figure's point of view and urged us to be as realistic as possible. Hey, I mean, he asked for it. Oh, you're the manager's wife? This is my first post ever and from a phone, so hang in there. I was previously a manager at a store which was not doing very well, so therefore we were always short-staffed. This instance happened during the holiday season. I was the only manager on duty and our jewelry department was extremely busy. Only certified employees can go behind the counter or a manager, and on this particular day there were only 2 qualified employees. I got a call to the jewelry department saying they were busy and had a very angry customer. I was used to this, so I walked up calmly with a smile on my face as I always do. When I rounded the corner, I saw this lady bang her fists on the counter exclaiming, "Where are all the employees? This is ridiculous!" I understood her frustration, but it's never the employee's fault when a store is understaffed, and since we are all being polite, her rudeness was not warranted. One of my jewelry associates was with customers who were very understanding of how busy we were and how hard we were working. I grabbed the keys to open the case and then walked up to the woman and asked, "How can I help you today?" To which she replied, "Well, it's about time. Does no one here care?" And, "Ha! You're the manager? That's a good one." I calmly explained we are doing the best we could with the hands we had, and that everyone was doing last-minute shopping. I did not say it's not our fault you're in a rush, but I wanted to. Also, since she was causing such a scene, I had to take care of her first when there were customers who had been waiting before her. They all seemed taken back by her outburst, so no one complained. I was very good at calming frantic customers down, so I chatted with her about the purchase, and she continued to give me attitude and called us incompetent. When she went to pay, I recognized the name on the card. It was the last name of the store manager from another location within the same company that I worked for within the previous year. Oh, I was going to have fun with this. This is how it went. I am M for manager, and she is UC for upset customer. Wait, are you in any ways related to SM, store manager I had previously worked for? Upset customer. Yes, I'm his wife. Why? She looked visibly nervous. M. Very loudly I exclaimed, "Oh, I worked under him at another location. He was the store manager. Great guy. I know they are short-staffed right now as well, so I hope they're doing okay. Some customers can be rough around the lines there. Tell him I said hi. Actually, I owe him a call. It's been almost a year." Upset customer. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'll tell him you said hi." She looked so uncomfortable and left so quickly. Her attitude went from pompous to meek in a minute flat. The best part? The understanding customers who had been with my employee overheard everything, and the lady walked over to me and said, "Don't worry, your employee told me about the online survey. I can't believe how she talked to you. I'll let the company know." The next day, there was a survey on our website. The company takes surveys very seriously. The understanding customers had let corporate know about the entire situation and named her and the store manager by name. The other store manager did not get in trouble, as he was not at fault, but I bet he gave his wife an earful for embarrassing him and verbally abusing people that worked in his company. Also, I got praised for handling the situation, and my store's surveys numbers went up. Moral of the story? Don't abuse employees if you're related to someone in the company. Nothing like being a garbage human being to people who work underneath your husband. Am I right, everyone? I mean, come on. They work under your husband. You can talk however you want to them. It's not like corporate's gonna get mad or anything and possibly reprimand your husband for the actions that you caused. Right? Right? Thank you everyone for checking out this video of r/MaliciousCompliance. Hopefully in the next couple days I'll be able to increase production quality as I'm starting to get better with After Effects. So anyways, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.